Welcome back to Crazy Ex Podcast. This time, Roger and I watched Season 1, Episode 16, Josh's Sister is Getting Married. As always, we'll start off with a synopsis. Rebecca decides to stop chasing Josh and make amends to Valencia, but Paula isn't ready to let go. When Josh's sister asks Rebecca to be a bridesmaid, Rebecca only agrees if Valencia can be one too, and Rebecca works to make Valencia look good to Josh's family. When Paula interferes, Rebecca accepts responsibility and has it out with Paula. Meanwhile, Greg decides to help a fellow chaser of disinterested women shoot his shot, making him realize he needs to let go of Rebecca, only for Rebecca to show up and kiss him. Roger, what'd you think of this episode?
Interesting episode. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I think it was very strange that we took like a hard left turn in the last 5 minutes of the episode as far as like what I thought was going to happen. Especially, I'm talking about character relationships. Like I didn't expect Rebecca to run back to Greg. I didn't expect Josh to seemingly run back to Rebecca. I didn't expect a chance to make nice with Valencia. Like it just seemed very,
I don't agree about Greg. They've been setting that up for a while. Like, the way that she looks at him at the end of the last episode. Like, she realized that Greg was there for her.
I guess what I meant by that is that I didn't expect Greg to be stupid enough to take her. Mm. And I also don't know that I expected her to essentially just run back to him and like let's do this right now.
Uh-huh.
Like, acknowledging that he's been there for her is totally logical and reasonable. Mm-hmm. But that's very different than what, in my opinion, happened here, which is like, I want you. Like, mm-hmm. it felt like they might as well be running through a meadow. Like,
I have a lot of best lines.
I have a lot of great lines. My like is bigger than my dislike, but my dislike are bigger things.
That's fair.
Yeah, a lot of my likes are small.
Where would you like to start?
Let's start with Josh and Rebecca.
Okay.
At first, it felt like Josh was bothered by the idea that Rebecca was in love with him. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure by the end of that conversation that he wasn't actually okay with that and is more bothered with the fact that he might have feelings for her.
Well, yeah, I think that that's true. And I know that Josh told Valencia that he's not in love with Rebecca, but he did kiss Rebecca for a reason.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you're in love with someone.
It doesn't mean that you're in love with someone, but he definitely has feelings for her. He's told her that before.
Yeah. Well, he said he's attracted to her.
Yeah, he's attracted
Those
to her.
Are different things.
Doesn't have to be the same thing. I think he also, Valencia's mean to him.
Yeah, I think this is more about Valencia than it is about Rebecca.
So, like, seeing how much she likes him and how much attention she gave him made him feel good, I think.
Well, like, I think the photos...
With the pictures.
I think if you looked at photos of Valencia and Josh, they're photos of Valencia where Josh happens to be present.
Yeah.
Whereas Rebecca took photos mostly of Josh.
Yeah.
And maybe she's present, but it was about Josh.
Yeah.
And I think he's now seeing that, like, oh, this is what it looked like when a woman is in love with me. And then there's Valencia who, like, he's kind of the side character in her story. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting. And, like, you could see that from, like, kind of the continuation of the previous episode conversation where he seemed to be bothered by the fact that she was like, no, I'm done. And he's like, are you sure? Like, he doesn't say that, but he seems to have that look on his face. And then we don't see him again until the very end. And that one, she just stone cold kicks him out. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I think that Rebecca has taken, like, a pretty healthy approach to, like, how she's moving forward with this.
False.
But, okay. But I think that it's pretty fair for Josh to be like, why did you hack into Valencia's phone and social media accounts to post something? Like, I thought that we weren't doing this anymore.
What part do you think that Rebecca's done has been healthy?
I think that she accepted responsibility for what she did, and she's trying to fix it.
To talk about what she did, because there's like a million things.
She accepted responsibility for being horrible to Valencia, and she's trying to help Valencia with a thing that Valencia actually cares about. And then she takes responsibility for something that I think she probably should take responsibility for because Paula is doing this because of Rebecca, but she didn't actually do it. And it doesn't matter to her that, like, it doesn't matter. Like, she takes responsibility for it anyway.
Sure. Fair. I would say what's not healthy is that she goes completely extremist with her cold turkey nonsense. Like, she can never do something in the middle. Like, can't we just be a reasonable, normal adult and not go on the scale of 100 to 100? So it's either I'm all in, I'm completely in love with Josh, or I'm all out and everything is done and I never want to speak to him again.
I don't know that she said that she never wants to speak to him again. I think that she's just trying to create healthy boundaries for herself.
On a normal person, I would agree with you, but that's not Rebecca.
But I don't think that Rebecca can do the middle ground. Like, I don't think that she'll be able to do that.
That is probably true. So, because she can't do the middle ground, she just does the other side of the extreme. One side of the extreme isn't better than the other side of the extreme. They're both the same. And then she also runs into Greg's arm.
It's also
which is an extreme reaction.
Really fair to, like, from Valencia. Like, Valencia would not want Rebecca to keep talking to Josh.
There's nothing that Rebecca has done in this show that has been concerned with Valencia's
feelings. She literally is concerned about it now.
Other than this, and I think this is more about assuaging her own guilt than it is actually doing something for Valencia. This 100% feels like I did a bad thing and I need to feel better about it, so I'm going to do a thing. Like, she's trying super hard to do everything she can to get Valencia in the good graces with the chance. That definitely seems like a I feel bad about it thing because I kissed your boyfriend, so now I'm trying to do something to make me feel better. It reminds me a lot of the Josh and I are good people episode. It is very similar to that. I'm going to do good things and prove that I'm a good person. And this is her MO.
But she doesn't care if they think that she's a good person. In fact, she accepts responsibility in the end for a thing that makes her look like a bad person.
She realizes that Paula did it, though.
Right.
So I think she just falls on the sword because, like, Paula did it, and then it turns out Paula did it under her orders, she thought, which is a whole different discussion.
She also could have told Josh that.
No, you can't. How could you explain that? First off, no one would believe you, because they don't know Paula. And if you tried to explain that Paula did all this, they'd be like, that sounds insane. This sounds like something you did.
More insane than the thing that she did?
Yeah, that somebody else did it? Like, think about how crazy it would be if we didn't know Paula, and you were like, no, I didn't do this. The entire time my coworker was the one behind this whole scheme to get us together. What? You think that sounds normal?
I don't think I would describe it like that.
But that's the truth. Even if you don't describe it like that, that is literally what happened. My coworker has been the one scheming to get us together the entire time. She hacked into your girlfriend's password and set up this whole big scheme to get us together. That doesn't sound crazy to you.
It would if I blamed the whole thing on Paula.
This whole thing was on Paula.
I would say, I have been doing all of these insane things that you know about because you were part of some of them, and my coworker Paula was helping, and then Paula did this thing.
But Paula is the one who did all of the... Like, all of the scheming was Paula.
Rebecca was helping her.
Rebecca was kind of... Like,
Rebecca was participating.
Yeah, like, Rebecca
went to Thanksgiving after running into...
Like, it was Paula who was the mastermind. Like, we've always given her credit for that, right? Paula does the thing to organize the group hang. Paula does the thing to do Thanksgiving. Rebecca participates, but, like, Rebecca is not Batman here. Like, the scheme is Paula.
I feel like Rebecca did what you've been asking for her to do in this episode, and you're still not giving her credit for it.
Because it didn't feel like she was doing the thing for the right reason. But
why do you think that?
Because that's her MO. Josh and I are good people literally showed that. I do things to make myself feel better when I've done a bad thing. That's like a proven fact. So, A, and B, also, I don't think it's the smart move. Like, I think the problem with her is that she goes into extremes. Like, running right into Greg's arms is ridiculously stupid. Like, that isn't what I would call a healthy move. That's not setting healthy boundaries. That's just taking your obsession of one thing and transferring it to another person.
Yep.
So, yeah, it absolutely seems to fit the kind of behavior pattern, MO, quote-unquote, that she's just decided to, like, I'm going to make myself feel better, and now I'm going to transfer my obsession, which, by the way, I knew she had a thing for Josh. I did not know that she had a stalker-like collection of things.
The bear.
The bear is not the weirdest one.
The macaroni.
The thong. What the hell is happening? Like, it actually kind of felt like he's a celebrity, and she's, like, one of those, like, teenage fangirls.
She said that she made the macaroni thing, but I was wondering if Paula bought some of those things. Paula seemed very attached to them.
Maybe.
But it's creepy, and she keeps them in a cabinet that she can't reach unless she stands on a stool.
Like, that's a shrine, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you ever watched Hey Arnold, that's Olga with Arnold. Like, that's just weird.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the little gum shrine that she has, like, that's the same level of, like, ew.
Yeah,
like,
that's gross.
Again, and this is why I really enjoyed Trent, if we found that with Trent, we'd be like, oh God, he's going to zip tie her and kill her and wear her skin.
It's weird. Well, like, very quickly, Josh, with the pictures, he didn't see the other things, but the pictures are also creepy.
I actually don't think the pictures are creepy.
I don't think I don't think that if there was just one, like, you taking pictures of your friends is not weird, but that it was like an entire roll of film that was just pictures of Josh is very weird.
Creepy is the wrong, like, I wouldn't call that creepy. I would say it's more or less like, oh, you have a thing for me. But it's not, like, creepy is a macaroni shrine made of me, or like a thong, or like, that's creepy. Like, the photos are...
I would be creeped out if someone showed me an entire thing of photos that were just pictures of me.
Maybe they're really good angles.
Okay, apparently you and Josh have a similar obsession with your own image.
I guess what I'm saying, compared to the actual creepy things that Rebecca does, that feels very tame in comparison.
Yes, but Josh doesn't know about those things, and Josh very quickly flips it on the pictures.
Because they're just photos. Like, I don't know, that doesn't bother me.
It's very creepy. That makes me feel like someone is watching me.
Well, she was with him most of the time, too. It wasn't like she was, like, in the bushes, like, popping up like paparazzi. Like, they're obviously she's in them with him sometimes, so, like, they're together. There are places where, like, they're already hanging out. Like, that's not that weird to me. Like, you don't have friends who've taken photos of you? Like, yes, obviously the amount is a little over the top.
I definitely don't have friends that have taken an entire roll of film of just me.
You need better friends. I definitely have had people take photos of me to that degree.
Okay.
Those people were myself.
All right. We got a little lost. Where do you want to go?
Let's talk about the ending scene. Greg.
Mm-hmm.
We had so much progress here. We were doing good. You'd made good life decisions, good life choices. You finally realized that chasing the girl who's really not interested in you is not a good move and is always what you do. And then we backslide completely at the very end. What are we doing, man? How can you spin this as not being the second choice? I don't even know what the logic is here. You are definitely, by definition, choice B. Because choice A was Josh. She went after Josh, pursued him, moved across the country, changed her job, was going to leave Lincoln, and then finally decided that's a bad move. Well, now you're the backup plan, which is the place you've always been. You've always been her backup plan. That's what you are. You're her comfort food.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Rebecca's behavior with Greg in the previous scenes that we see them in together is the opposite of what we usually see, and it's surprising to me that he's still interested. And that might be what it is for him, because she's like, oh, okay, you're putting up a boundary and I'm gonna leave.
What do you mean?
Like, when she shows up at the bar, that's what he's like, or she shows up at the bar and he says, let's do the thing where we throw the barbs at each other, and she's like, no, I'm gonna do a thing.
He's drunk, I'm assuming, right?
He's very drunk.
Yeah.
And then she shows up at home base alone, and he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, nothing's wrong. Mm-hmm. And then
which was a lie. There was something wrong.
She wasn't upset like she was before, though.
I don't think she...
I don't think she was seeking comfort. I think she was seeking companionship.
So she was
I think she wanted to hang out with somebody.
Someone. She wanted to be with someone.
I think she wanted to be with Greg.
Someone.
Okay.
And Greg will always be there.
But she leaves.
She does.
And
doesn't he say, I can't do this?
Yeah, and she says, okay, fair,
yeah,
which is not normally what Rebecca would do.
Well, she does. She accepts it the last time he says it, too. When he says, like, you just want to be with someone, and he walks out, she doesn't go chasing after him. She's like, yeah, I accept that.
That's true.
That's pretty normal for her. Like,
he was also dating Heather at the time. Because she didn't know that he wasn't dating Heather until midway through this episode.
But it was a callback to that scene, right? He said, like, no, and she's like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm surprised that, because Greg's thing is he wants to go after a woman who's, like, not interested in, but, like, in kind of an aggressive way. like it's like active disinterest, not just like, I'm gonna leave because you asked me to.
Yeah, I don't know that I get him. Like, because definitely this whole Greg episode is about his self-destructive behavior. It's very clear that that's what that's talking about. And Yeah, it does seem that he has a type for like, oh, just 10 or 11 years and then I'm in. And you're like, huh. I will say that, like, I don't know that I understand then, like, once she's interested in him, doesn't that kill that?
I think it's because he's actually interested in her.
Sure, but that was the point, though, is that he was acknowledging that, like, that's not healthy.
I think that he acknowledged that it's not healthy to chase after someone just because they're not interested in you.
Yeah, but, like, he's done this over and over and over with her.
This is definitely too fast. I'm not, like, trying to argue that this is... But I think that something is different this time.
Have you ever watched Arrested Development?
Yeah.
There's a famous scene that I love where it's Portia de Rossi and her husband, and they're trying to figure out what they should do for marriage counseling. They're like, oh, let's try opening up the relationship. And he's a therapist, and she's like, does that ever work for any of your patients? He goes, oh, no. That's ridiculous. These people delude themselves into thinking that it's going to fix their relationship, and it never does. But it just might work for us.
It's going to work for us. I also think there's some...
This time is different. Just like last time it was different. And the time before it was different.
Also, digging, like, a little more into Greg's character. I think I Could If I Wanted To is, like, the perfect all-encompassing song about Greg as a human being. And I think that he decided to study, and now so he could if he wanted to, so he's gonna. And now Rebecca is showing actual interest in him. And he could if he wanted to. He needs to prove that he can. Not saying that's healthy. It's a thing.
I would say that song is like the point that, like, you keep saying you could have done these things, but I think deep down you know you can't.
Yeah.
And I think deep down he knows he can't quit Rebecca. But it's unhealthy for him.
But I think that he does realize that... I think that the main thing about the song is if you don't try, then you can't fail at something that you don't try to do. Like, you can't fail at school, even if they fail you, if you weren't trying to do it.
Yeah, you can lie to yourself about that. And that's totally reasonable in all of those other examples. He has tried with Rebecca multiple times. In fact, the conclusion that he comes to is the only time he has a healthy, rational, logical thought about her, which is, this is bad. I need to stop this. And then the moment she comes crawling back, he's like, I'm in. You're like, what do you... Like, he even says, I can't be your second choice. But you are her second choice.
I think... Okay.
Like, I just don't know how you can phrase that any other way from not being the second choice there. And
I mean,
also,
people can change their minds about things.
Okay, if you were obsessed with something for 10 years, and then you tell me that night I'm no longer obsessed with it, should I logically believe you?
I mean, I wouldn't believe Rebecca about most things that she says, as Paula doesn't.
Would you believe any person on the planet if something that they were obsessed with for a decade then changed their mind in 24 hours? Like, is that how human beings typically work?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to talk more about Greg?
Yeah.
I love at the end of I Could If I Wanted To when the sword swallower swallows the sword and then Greg says, I could do that if I wanted to. And the woman turns to him and is like, you're an idiot.
So that really does happen. Was he just going through wrecking everybody's day while he was singing, talking to himself?
Probably.
What a dick. What a dick.
It's like with the dad calves, the big dad calves.
I liked his, I'm not a sourpuss, I'm pensive and deep.
Yeah.
That was like the perfect... like, he takes himself way too seriously.
Yeah,
and
that's how
Josh
Greg
made that
thinks
point.
about himself.
Yeah, he thinks about that I'm pensive and deep. I'm like, no, you're actually just a curmudgeon who's the cause of his own problems. Like, truthfully, Greg's entire character was revealed in the episode where he meets his mom for Christmas.
Yeah.
You make everything out to be the worst possible scenario. In reality, the problem is that you're just kind of a whiny little bitch. Like, it's just you. And you make bad choices. Like, truthfully, he makes bad choices.
I do love the line, the, like, through line, the, like... Emory is the Harvard of the South. Greg is Rebecca. Like, he's like...
Oh, they're very similar.
He's bringing up the Harvard. And I love that Marty actually went to Harvard and never brings it up.
No, the Harvard of Boston. Like, you know, the normal.
I guess he did bring it up, but in a more... It was like a more casual, like, oh my god, I went to Harvard, now I work at a grocery store.
Like, the criticism isn't that people talk about that I went to college. It's the criticism that, like, this has nothing to do with the conversation. You just need to shoehorn that you went to Harvard everywhere, or Yale, or whatever it was. Whereas, like, someone who actually went to Harvard, which, by the way, what the hell did you go to Harvard for and then end up working as a grocery store clerk? Nothing wrong with grocery store clerks.
Philosophy, English literature.
You go to Harvard for philosophy majors?
Some people do.
What a waste.
Maybe. They also, probably have some of the best philosophy professors in the United States.
I'm sure they do. What you gonna do with that philosophy degree? Philosophize? You ever seen...
Be a philosophy professor at Harvard?
There's only one of those, I suspect. So I'm guessing, based on the 30 students in that class, 29 of them better have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
There's an old... it's B. Arthur... And it's a Monty Python movie, and it talks about philosophy, and it's like, I'm a philosopher. It's like, oh, did you bullshit today? Did you bullshit tomorrow? Will you be bullshitting in the future? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, great. Nothing wrong with philosophy, though. I don't know how it translates all that well. Yeah, Greg is an interesting character.
I also love that Greg's friends talk about him and Rebecca at the grocery store.
I mean, of course they do. I'm shocked that he was surprised by this, considering how much, why wouldn't they talk about that?
I don't know. White Josh seems, very disinterested in all this fucking nonsense.
White Josh seems disinterested in dealing with it. Talking about it with your friends while they're not around seems like the perfect way to talk about it, but not have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And also, some of the crazy shit has happened in front of them, like the whole striptease on a bus thing that she does. So, were they just going to be like, oh yeah, we're not going to talk about this? Of course they're talking about it. Now, talking about it in a grocery store in public may not be the smartest move.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you make a good point. Why would you think that, that they're listening?
I don't know, just, do you talk about private conversations about your friends at a grocery store?
Sure.
All right. Well, you noted.
I mean, not to the grocery store people, but if I'm with another friend or I'm on the phone.
Yeah. Huh.
You're gonna think about when you, what you tell me now?
Yes.
Because the grocery store clerk might know about you?
Correct.
Something embarrassing?
Well, no, it's not that. I just think that's weird. I don't want people in my business I don't know.
I see. Last thing I have about Greg. When Rebecca sits down to order a drink, he asks her, what'll it be? Which I think is a nice callback to his song. The Billy Joel one. The piano song on Thanksgiving.
Oh! I was like, that was his song. You're right. That was.
I mean, that's not an abnormal thing for a bartender to ask, but it's very specific.
Oh, that is a real school. I didn't know if Emory was a real school.
Oh, yeah. It's a real school.
They could have made
it's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. No, it's in Georgia. Yeah, I love that every time he kept saying the Harvard of the South, they gave a different example of a much better school. And I was like, I thought that was Vanderbilt too. Oh wait, I did think that was Duke. You know what I never thought it was? Emory.
Well, I do think that Emory does have a good business school.
Sure they do. But I don't think they're the Harvard of the South.
No. He could also just say Emory or not bring it up at all.
Or just I got into business school.
Yeah. I got into business school, but life got in the way.
I don't want to be slinging drinks like some loser when I'm 60 years old.
The bartender just walks away.
As he should.
Also, that bartender works in a bar that has swinging saloon doors, and that's pretty cool. Maybe he owns the bar, Greg. You don't know.
I still don't think there's probably what you want to do.
I don't know.
Owning the bar, yes. Having to still sling drinks at 60, probably not.
Bartenders make a lot of money.
They do, but they work hard for the money.
They do, and they don't have retirement usually.
Yeah. And their benefits are probably questionable.
I remember when I was in college, I was in a class with someone that was 35, and I thought she looked older, but I didn't ask. And then one time she mentioned she had a 12-year-old daughter, and I was like, whoa. And she was like, yeah, I was a bartender for a really long time. It was really hard to go to college when I made $100,000 a year, and I was like, fair.
I mean, they earn $100,000. You deal with drunken idiots every night.
Yeah, I'm dealing with drunken Greg.
Drunken Greg seems tame. I'm talking about drunken fighting. Okay, yeah, Greg might be annoying, but think about the kind of people that get drunk and get into bar fights. Or,
that's true.
Way more. Yeah.
Greg is bitingly mean though when he's drunk.
That would not bother me, but that would bother some people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, his meanness is not intended. It's just his filter gets turned off.
It might be intended.
I don't know. I don't think he was trying to insult the bartender. I think that was just his stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
And has no awareness of the situation because he's drunk.
Yeah, that's for the bartender, sure. That's fair.
And I think even with Rebecca, he didn't say anything mean to her. He was like, oh, let's just sit here and trade insulting barbs. It was he was just he was basically saying what he keeps internalized. Our relationship is just us saying mean stuff to each other. Mm-hmm. He wasn't intending it to be insulting, But like, if you were sober, you would be like, well, people don't really want to frame their relationship like that.
Drunk studying seems like a move.
Seems like a great move.
I don't know that you would remember it, so it kind of might be a waste of time.
I mean, I think studying is usually mostly a waste of time, but sure.
Okay.
Like, if you're trying to remember...
You tell that to your doctor the next time you see him.
Like, studying is a waste of time?
Yeah. He had to learn all that shit somewhere.
I'm going to be honest with you. I would prefer that the things that my doctor is working on me are something that he studied much more recently than probably, like, back in college. Since that was 15 years ago, most likely. I would hope medicine has advanced since he was going to the Harvard of the North. Does anyone call themselves the Harvard of the North that's not Harvard?
No.
I feel like someone should. What's the line from Tufts, by the way?
I didn't want to go to Harvard anyway.
That's like, I kept thinking about that this entire episode. I didn't want to go to Harvard anyway. Amazing.
Unofficial motto of Tufts University. Yeah.
Were people saying that ironically, or...
No.
That's a real...
It's a real thing that
like,
people
I could
say.
have gotten in there, but I didn't want to. I chose to not go to Harvard.
Or like, they didn't let me in, but I didn't want to go there anyway, so...
This is like when the pretty girl rejection, you're like, I didn't want to date her anyway.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking waitlist me, bastards.
You got waitlisted?
At Harvard? Yeah. I didn't want to go there anyway.
When I hear that, I really didn't want to go to Harvard. But you did want to go to Harvard.
I mean, I thought that I did. I'm probably better off that I didn't, to be honest.
You think so?
Yeah.
You could have been a philosophy major.
I don't think that anything would have made me a philosophy major. I was an English major and political science.
Well, Harvard's probably pretty bad at teaching those two subjects.
English? I don't think so.
I'm literally being sarcastic. Political science, I'm pretty sure they're good at, too.
Yeah, probably.
Know any politicians that went to Harvard by chance?
Hey, a lot of politicians went to Tufts. A lot of foreign dignitaries went to Tufts.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Who knew?
And, like Meredith Vieira.
Let's pretend like I don't know who that is.
She's from the Today Show. She's a famous newscaster. It's fine.
Okay. Cool.
Hank Azaria went to Tufts.
The Simpsons guy?
Yeah. See? Those people didn't want to go to Harvard either.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to go to places with like Barack Obama and shit. Yeah, sure.
Nah. Who needs that?
Who needs that?
All right.
Yeah, so I guess the whole thing with Greg is, I think the Greg side quest with, I had his name down.
Marty. His name is Marty.
Was quite funny and illuminating.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was going to be, and I will say, I respect the twist, I guess, in that, like, I thought this was another Christmas episode with Greg, where it's like, breakthrough, we got somewhere, and then it was like, right at the end, they were like, ooh, just kidding, he's definitely going to go right back to Rebecca.
Well, and I think we were talking about the tag at the end, which I didn't quite hit right. The Allie went on the date with other grocery store.
The eyelid guy from I Have Friends.
And he's a dick. And she realized, like, she has the realization, but Greg doesn't. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I wasn't quite sure what they were trying to say because the tag wasn't very funny.
No, it wasn't very funny. It wasn't very clear what they were.
Maybe they're trying to make the point that you've been making the whole time, which is we set Greg up for success, and then Allie made the right choice, but he didn't.
I think that's what it was. Because I was like, is she supposed to be Greg? And she says lines that he has said about Rebecca, like, I always go for the wrong type of person, which is what he does. He likes girls that aren't interested in him. Yeah. So maybe that was like but it was confusing. The first coda was like, what?
Need more information.
More information. Okay. You want to pivot to the wedding?
Sure.
So you think Rebecca was genuinely just trying to get in Valencia in Josh's family's good graces, no ulterior motive. This was purely altruistic. Rebecca just being.
If you want to get all philosophical about it, is anything that anyone does ever purely altruistic?
Yeah. Like, if you hold open a door for someone, what are you gaining out of that?
You look like a hero, and they're saying thank you.
That seems like a made-up thing that isn't very real. Like, who cares? Like, if I hold a door open, whether you say thank you or not...
You look good to other people.
To whom?
The other people that are around, and that person. I don't know, like,
That feels meaningless, but okay.
I do think that she genuinely feels bad and wants...
I do think she feels bad. We agree on that one.
I think that she is genuinely trying to help Valencia at her own expense.
I think she was definitely making herself look bad, though it's funny. At first, it seemed like she was not working with this. Like, when she kept telling the jokes about her body, it seemed like it was actually highlighting how much more pleasant Rebecca was than Valencia. Because, like, Rebecca is funny and easy to hang out with, whereas Valencia is intense and concerned with her looks. So, like, I was like, if you're actually trying to help her, you're making her look real shitty right now. But then at some point, she was able to flip it, and I couldn't tell if Valencia was actually okay with her, or if she was just pretending.
I think that Valencia was feeling really supported.
Connection.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, as Valencia says, I've been practicing my humor. I watched an online tutorial.
That woman is a robot, and she confuses me at multiple levels.
I also cannot believe that she showed up in fucking angel wings.
Yes, you can.
You take them off.
Do you, though?
Not if you're Valencia.
Yeah.
You gotta walk down the street in your angel wings. Is Maxim's hometown hotties a real thing?
Yeah.
What, like, they just, like, find hot women in small places that are not famous? Is that what they do?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, it's just basically, hey, send me a photo of, you know, you're a hot woman, and then we'll put you on our edition of Hometown Hotties. Because, like, everyone knows Kate Upton is attractive. But, like, you're not going to randomly see the hot girl in the middle of Nebraska. So then, there you go. Now you found a hometown hottie. Boom.
West Covina.
Covina.
Valencia, hometown hottie.
California feels like it's cheating because, like, you know, that's very easy. You know, we would expect that from California, Florida, wouldn't it, from, like, Iowa. But, yeah, that's a thing.
I do also think...
It was a thing.
When Rebecca said that she wouldn't feel right being in the bridal party unless Valencia was also in the bridal party, she thought that would mean neither of them were in the bridal
100% think
party.
that was a play to get her kicked out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, say what?
Yeah, because she was trying to come up... Because I know that it's very hard to say no to someone when they ask you to be in their bridal party.
Sure. I've experienced that.
Like Paula says, like, you can't say no to that.
Yeah, like, I've been asked to be a groomsman before, and you're like, yeah, you just have to do it.
Yeah. Like, there's some, like, I'm having a baby. It might be a way to get around that. But, like...
yeah.
There's...
Or I have to go to my mother's funeral is probably a good way to get out of it.
She tried to come up with an excuse that she genuinely felt was true, I think.
Yeah.
But, like, thought that it would work, and then it didn't work.
It should have worked.
Yeah.
So, and you were explaining to me that this is a thing. That is perplexing to me that people will have... Because, like, your wedding is supposed to be, like, your special day. It's all about you and the people who you're close with and the people that you love. And yet, apparently, people will be putting in, like... They don't like Valencia at all. They think she's heinous.
Yeah.
I think is the word they used.
Which they then say to her face.
I mean, that seemed fair.
It's usually a family thing. And Valencia is not technically family, but they've been dating for a long time. And I think that, like... It's a little more black and or it's a little less black and white than usual, but like oftentimes it'll be like, well, obviously I have to have my sister be.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Like if you haven't talked to your sister in 15 years and you have a blood feud, she should not be in your, you know, wedding.
A blood feud.
Well, your blood, you're feuding. I mean,
blood sport.
But yeah, like that is insane to me. Like if my sister's boyfriend was someone I didn't like. No, you're not one of my groomsmen. It's not even a discussion. Like, I guess maybe if you're married, but like even then, like people, like if my sister were to get married, doesn't mean that like me and my wife need to be in the bridal party. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. Like yeah, an invite to the wedding, totally fair, but like,
I don't know.
That's strange to me.
Also, apparently Rebecca's been in a book club with Josh's family the whole time.
That tracks.
I mean, they did talk about it at the Thanksgiving.
Nothing about that actually seems weird to me.
I didn't think it was weird. I'm like, yeah. Well, they also really like Rebecca.
Yeah. She is a good parent.
Yeah.
Also,
and sibling.
I really wonder, had she been thinking about it, could she have invited Valencia to this book club and really humiliated her?
Oh my God. Probably.
Yeah. Valencia's not illiterate, right? Like, she can read.
She can read, yeah.
But she doesn't read.
She doesn't read.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing that is strange about this is they went to go try on somebody else's wedding dress. I don't know all of the wedding
that's not
rules and faux pas and things you're not supposed to do. I'm guessing that trying on the wedding dress is not something anyone who's not the bride should ever be doing.
Yeah, you're definitely not supposed to try on someone else's wedding dress. And they do sort of have this, like, conspiratorial thing about it. Like, they realize they're not supposed to be doing it, but they do it anyway.
Well, you know what I don't get? They're at a place where they have...
You could have just tried on a different dress.
You have unlimited wedding dresses around you! All you have to do is not fuck up that one. Like, I actually thought this was going to, like, she was going to get stuck in the wedding dress, or they were going to ruin the wedding dress, or, like, something like that.
I also thought that was going to happen, and I've seen this before.
So you knew that was not a thing, and yet it still felt like
I couldn't remember. But, like, yes, that felt like what...
It felt like what was a
absolutely what was going to happen.
Yeah, like how you ruined the
As
wedding
soon as
dress.
she took the picture, though, I knew what was going to happen. Not because I remembered, but because I just knew.
I did not catch that. I actually thought that was going to lead to something different. Was that like Josh was going to see it and realize it actually didn't do anything. So I thought we would go, or like Valencia would see it and realize that like there's really no future with this because Josh doesn't want that. The family, like I thought we were going to go more like it was going to be Valencia realizes that like she needs to break up with Josh, and then now Rebecca's caught in this like, oh god, I just decided I don't want Josh, and now Valencia doesn't want him either.
Well, and God, Paula went so extra with that. Not just the photo of the dress, but what was the hashtag? More beautiful than the bride?
Hotter than the bride? Better than the bride?
God.
I mean, to be fair, she did look better than the bride in the dress. It isn't factually wrong, in my opinion. Yeah, they had another weird female bonding moment. I mean, it was right after the song
Heavy Boobs.
That was a weird song.
Yeah, I have some quibbles with this song as a person with heavy boobs.
Sure.
A lot of the things in the song like feel real. Like each of my double D's has the volume of a toddler's head. I feel that, Rebecca. And like the jumping, that
hurts, right?
It hurts very much.
Yeah, like when they were doing that and I was like, those things are bouncing. Like that's gotta not feel good.
I also love when she says that they each have their own memoir and the left one is called Slightly Smaller Than the Right. Is
that true for all women?
It's very unlikely that your boobs are exactly the same size, and when your boobs are bigger, the difference is often more stark.
Interesting. So it's not the same level of difference.
Like I know some people where it's like almost a cup size different.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But I feel like they focus a lot on this like analogy of it being like a dwarf star, and instead of like some of the other things that are very true about having heavy boobs, like the way clothes, like they were trying on clothes, and they didn't talk about like, I have this button-up shirt that I can't button up even though it fits me everywhere else, so I'm going to try on this really big shirt that where my hands don't stick out, but it buttons now. Like that kind of shit.
But with the small shirt, can't you then make that photo where it looks like your boobs are popping out your shirt?
Yeah, like a boob window, like the Klingons in Star Trek.
Well, no, like, you know how, like, you've seen these, like, they use, like, women will have the photo where it's, like, because it's so tight around their boobs, it looks like their boobs are about to come bursting out of the seams. You've never seen that? Maybe I just look at more.
Yeah, it also just, like, wouldn't stay like that, because boobs bouncy. But the shit getting stuck in your bra, 100%. If I eat popcorn and then I take my clothes off at night, popcorn falls on the floor. Every time.
Yeah, this tracks. Okay.
Or like all of my shirts have stains on the boobs.
Well, I mean, my shirts have stains on the chest. I think that's just how human anatomy works. Like when you miss your mouth, the next part.
I think thin people can just like lean forward, and then there's no.
Yeah, but no one eats like that. We all eat like this, like slobs and slouch.
We're also supposed to take very small bites that we eat slowly, which neither of us do.
You're supposed to chew 27 times before you swallow.
Nah.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, so that's heavy boobs. I mean, it was funny, but it wasn't great. I
will say, Rebecca dressed as a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Normally I'm not a huge fan of that look, and I was like, oh, that's a good Rebecca look.
Roger, have we watched Fuck Me Ray Bradbury yet?
What?
It's Rachel Bloom's first like viral comedy video, and it's a song called Fuck Me Ray Bradbury where she sings about the author Ray Bradbury, and there's some like teaching elements to it. We can watch it after this.
Great. I'm in. Completely lost my thought now.
Night.
We're gone. Oh no, we're in the wedding. Okay, so let's talk about. We touched on this earlier. Paula. So this is what was interesting is that I definitely thought Paula just did this on her own accord. It didn't occur to me that this is how the relationship has been. I don't recall it being that way. Like, I don't remember Rebecca saying don't do anything and Paula would just do it anyway. Like, I don't remember that. But Rebecca does, and Paula does. And I thought Paula was just like, oh, it's just like unspoken between us. But it sounds like this is how they've operated.
It has happened before.
And
I think that it's true that Rebecca gives in really quickly often. So, like, it makes sense that Paula wouldn't believe her.
Like, I always thought she just didn't do anything and Paula would just act.
That also.
Yeah.
But, like, the Thanksgiving thing, like, Rebecca's like, I'm not doing this. Like, don't do that. And then it just, like, is happening at the grocery store.
So that's the thing. I guess, like, that's a perfect example. I don't remember her telling Paula not to do a thing. I remember Paula saying, oh, I've done a thing. And she's like, what the hell are you doing? And then it's like, well, sorry. Like she just gives in. But, like, this felt like a very direct, clear, don't do that.
Rebecca was really clear.
I mean, it was very clear to me that, like, I'm done, don't do this. And Paula went, I can't be. Like, basically, she overruled her. Like, no, we're not done with this.
Yeah.
So she.
And Paula, like, some of the shit she goes into is dark. Like, not just itchy poison oak, but she wants to give Valencia Lyme disease. Like, Jesus. That's a disease that you have for the rest of your life.
Really?
Yes.
Why, do you have Lyme disease?
I think so.
Light sensitivity to sound. You turn into a tick, essentially.
Right.
I think if you catch it early enough, it doesn't have to be chronic.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have those things.
But yeah, Paula does what Paula always does.
Paula does Paula things. I do think that her falling on the sword was... I think her falling on the sword was a altruistic act. She gained nothing from that.
No, yeah, And I think that she recognizes that it's partially her fault.
I don't think she did at the time. I think at the time she 100% thought this was Paula's fault. So that's why I think it was altruistic. She didn't believe she actually did need to take responsibility for it, but did so because, like, Paula did this, but it doesn't matter because, like, the bride was hurt, I'm going to fall on the sword. And then she later realizes that, like, actually some of this is my fault because I've kind of encouraged you to do shit like this all the way throughout.
Well, and she also, like, she forgives Paula, like, pretty quickly, too.
Well, yeah, at the point where if Paula really did think she was acting on Rebecca's orders, then, like, it's not her fault entirely. It's a little crazy, but, like, that's their relationship.
Well, and, yeah, I mean, she just is so sad that they might not be able to hang out anymore.
Yeah, it didn't... So I even have on here, was like, it's really sad that Paula basically is just obsessed with the game. But then, like, when she explained it, is that, like, but then we have nothing binding us. I was like, oh, that actually makes some sense. She's like, if you don't have to chase after Josh, we won't be friends anymore. Mm-hmm. Now, that tells me how single-minded their friendship must have been.
They have bonded over other hijinks, though. Specifically, like, Naomi. Remember when Paula pretended to be a British person?
Yeah. Well,
and they're also, like, both lawyers. Like,
Rebecca helped Paula with her kid thing. Like, they've done other things.
We also often, it usually leads into a conversation about Josh, but, like, when they're having breakfast or eating donuts or whatever, like, they'll just talk about donuts like normal people.
Yeah. Or even the conversation about, what do we talk about standing places where people can't see you when she jump scares her? I'm sorry, I forgot. So this is a thing Paula does frequently, which that was kind of creepy. Like, it definitely, you knew she was there, but it was still kind of weird.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen now with their friendship.
Did the Chans accept Valencia now?
I think so.
Because all of the things they didn't like her for are still true.
Although I think that they make the point when they tell her, we always thought you were heinous, but you actually are kind of okay, which is a really backhanded compliment. But
yeah, but they're not lying to her.
I also think that they never really gave her a chance before. And also Valencia is trying in a different way, I think. Like, she did an online tutorial about humor. Because I don't think that, like, for the most part, Valencia was, like, terribly unpleasant. When she showed up, she was terribly unpleasant, but when they were just, like, having the conversation about the, like, it was fine.
She's not terribly unpleasant. I thought you meant in general. She's not terribly unpleasant. I was like, false. Yeah, no, it does seem like she's made a true, genuine effort to bond with the sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's me as the heinous comment was, they also tell the other girl she's a dud.
Yeah.
Like, they're just kind of just being honest.
Well, and then she snaps back at Valencia when she posts that photo.
Oh, yeah. She called her a bitch.
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that really surprised me is they weren't mad that Valencia tried on the dress.
That was the thing that I was like, because she says you ruined my wedding, and I was like, oh, she's yelling at her for trying on the dress. And then I was like, oh, this is just about posting it, which like...
That's there's a problem with trying on the dress.
Yeah.
But the posting it means that, like, her fiance could have seen it, which, like, there's the whole thing about not seeing the dress before the wedding. Like,
I thought it was you in the dress.
No, it's also the dress. Like, you would never show the groom the dress.
Oh, I really thought it was just the bride in the dress. I didn't think the dress...
I mean, you're also not supposed to see the bride in the dress. But yeah, like, women do not usually show the groom the dress at all. It's like a total surprise.
Super. Because, like, the dress doesn't mean shit to me. It's just a dress. Like,
yeah.
I can't see you in it. Like, if you're in it, that makes sense. I mean, other than how stupid that tradition is. I didn't think the dress itself was, like, significant in being hidden.
It's a stupid tradition, and I completely agree, but also that fucking look on your face the first time you saw Jen in her dress.
Yeah. It's not so much that, like, I have a problem with it. I acknowledge that it's silly. It's like baseball has a lot of superstitions that are stupid, but, like, I don't mind them. They just...
Yeah.
They're dumb.
Yeah. Anything else before I have so many best lines.
I have a decent amount.
We talked about some of them already, but...
We did. Just want to make sure, but I think we are good. Oh, when Rebecca basically kicks out Josh at the very end, Josh looks so confused.
Yeah.
Like, I've said this before about Josh. He doesn't seem like a guy who has two brain cells to rub together. And that's like the first time I think I've ever seen him truly ponder something and be like, I don't... What? Like, not like I don't understand it. It's like, wait, how am I being kicked out? Like,
I think he's, like, having a realization that he, too, has an obsession with Rebecca that's, like, different than Rebecca's obsession with him. But he, like, constantly wants to, like, be in her circle, in her orbit.
The same way that Greg constantly puts himself in Bunch's orbit, Josh has also done so. Now, some of that has been Rebecca's doing, like going to camp or Thanksgiving or all that other stuff. But it's been noticeable. And he doesn't seem to shy away from it either. Like, he can't be that dumb.
Yeah.
I hope.
But, I mean, I do, like, it was reasonable for him to be upset that she did that thing.
What was the... Oh,
the post, like, the breaking into the account, finding the picture, posting the photo.
Sorry, which thing he did say about his numerous
But, I mean, she's like, yeah, I fixed it. Like, go home.
Get out. That was the thing that was surprising, is that she was like, get out. And I was like, oh, that was weird.
I think because she knows that she can't, like...
Trust herself.
Yeah. All right. I really liked when she's talking to Josh about the photos. And then she says, like, all the Josh stuff is gone. And he says, there was stuff? And then she goes, no. And then it, like, the cut scene to the, like, creepy stuff was like, brilliant.
It was amazing. I did talk about this, but I just want to say it again. I figure 10 or 11 years of me trying, I'm a lock.
Yeah. That one is really good. Also, the when he's talking to Marty and he's saying that he has this crush on Allie, and he, like, calls her name, and then the way she looks at him, and Greg goes, that's my type too.
So speaking of Greg and Marty, she's shown no interest in you, doesn't know who you are. Why stop now? You were just like, that's a paraphrase, but I'm just like, oh, Greg. Which is funny, because I feel like him saying all those things was kind of like the realization that, like, this is not healthy.
Yeah. Also, I thought this was a pretty funny line. This is not going to be just a roll in the hay and you go home. This is going to be like 3 days of you and me ruining each other. And I don't mean emotionally. They're going to bang for 3 days.
No, they're not. It's just not a thing. It's just not how sex works. I
don't think they're going to have sex continuously for 3 days.
You said bang for 3 days. If you told me you're running for 3 days, I'm assuming you're doing some Forrest Gump shit running. Yeah, your friends come in here and talk about you and Rebecca all the time. God, I hate my friends. I just love how disgusted he is by this, and, like, he never realized that they would potentially be talking about that.
After Marty sings Clean Up on Aisle 4,
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Which really happened. Was not a
He
cover
really
band.
sang
He
Clean Up on
really
Aisle 4.
sang...
And apparently also really purchased skywriting of the lyrics of the song.
And then that weirdo also really did the cartwheeling.
Yeah.
Do you now understand why it's not always very clear?
I get it. But after he does the cartwheeling, Marty's delivery of, he can do anything, was just like... It's like, what is with this guy?
Also, I'm going to be honest. Was that, like, there's a phrase called giving you the ick. When she ran after him yelling, teach me, I was like, ew.
Carrying the, like, boatload of tampons? Yeah.
Teach me, teach me. I was like, oh, this is what giving me the ick feels like.
There is, like, obviously he's not, like, conventionally attractive. Like, that's clear. Neither is Marty, to be honest. Like, I think he's cute, but he's not, like, conventionally attractive. The height difference, sure. But...
Oh, also, I just meant, like, there's a tier between them. Like...
But also, God, what is his name? The other guy, the cartwheeling man. He also is just such a dick.
Like, can we have sex now?
I just, like, don't understand the appeal.
Well, women like assholes.
Yeah, not that kind of asshole. Though.
I know, I wouldn't think so either, but...
Close-up magic asshole? That's, like, what is that? All right. Do you have any more?
I do. We talked about this, but I want to say it again. I'm not a sourpuss. I'm pensive and deep.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I
could if I wanted to in that line. Our Greg just in a little ball.
The microcosm of who Greg's personality is that song and then that line. It's like, that's Greg. Mm-hmm. My favorite line of the entire episode was literally, oh, I drink anywhere, but I choose to do my study drinking here. This man has a specific spot he's going to study drink, but he'll drink anywhere you need to.
Yep.
And then you already talked about I've been practicing my humor.
Yep, that was a really good one.
I have one favorite concept, and that's it.
I have two favorite moments.
Nope.
One of them is a line. Greg is, like, kind of a dick to Marty, and then all of a sudden it, like, shifts when he starts talking about the girl. And then he, like, tries to ask Marty a question about the girl, and Marty goes, are we being pleasant now? Sorry, I don't know your rules.
That was amazing. I'd also like to point out that Marty was dusting a potato. Is that a thing?
I mean, potatoes are dirty, like, not dusty.
Dirt, dust, I mean, tomato in that regard.
But he was acting as if, like, they've been sitting here for so long that they need to be dusted, which I feel like is not...
Well, so there's that, which I actually didn't think of. And also, like, when you peel and wash potatoes, so, like, does it matter?
You don't have to peel them, but you should always wash them.
You should always at least be washing them.
Yeah,
and I think most peel them.
Well, yeah, I feel like
potato.
I don't know. That was a very weird.
So I was like, "What are you?" And he said, "I just do this to keep busy." So it seemed like it's not a thing you need to do.
Yeah.
Just Greg's snappy lines throughout the entire thing. Like most of my lines are Greg. Like,
yeah,
he was funny.
He was great.
Yeah.
I guess I'm excited to see what's going to happen now, but Rebecca finally getting Paula to listen and Paula, like, actually revealing what the root of the Josh obsession is about. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with their friendship now.
Fair.
Favorite song?
Nope.
You don't have one?
I like either one.
I could if I wanted to.
Didn't feel like a song. Like, it felt like a series of funny puns.
But it was like a grunt. It was like grunge.
But, like, most of it was him talking, and then there'd be, like, a moment of speak, or, like, a moment of song, and then we go back into the... Like, it didn't feel...
I feel like that's, like, a specific song. I don't know, maybe...
Could be. It just didn't feel like... Heavy Boobs was mostly music, and then there'd be some interview.
Yeah.
This was, like, the inverse.
That's fair.
And then Heavy Boobs was... Didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I agree. And Clean Up on Aisle 4 is barely a song.
Clean
Up My Heart on Aisle 4. I'm so sorry.
That would have won had I thought about that.
Yeah. Although it seems that Greg agrees with you, because my favorite line from I Could If I Wanted To is, this song sucks. I could make it good if I wanted to.
Also, the Settle For Me reprise at the end. And I was like, yep, you definitely settled.
They also played the I Have Friends sad music a couple times.
And they played the I Have Friends, like, montage for the cargo guy.
Groceries clerk with half an eyelid.
I can't be healthy.
Most ridiculous moment, I have two.
I got one, so go.
Valencia showing up in angel wings, which, as you pointed out, is really not that ridiculous for Valencia as a person, but it's still like
It's generally ridiculous
Yes.
unless you're going to a Victoria's Secret shoot.
Yep.
That's absurd.
She could keep wearing the same thing and just take off the wings. Like, come on. And then the macaroni portrait is terrifying.
I mean, I constantly think about, imagine if Trent had this of Rebecca.
Creepy.
Zip ties and duct
Very
tape.
creepy.
Yeah, my ridiculous moment is conceptual. Greg just undoes all his hard work. I know you disagree with that and you think that this situation is different. She'll change this time.
Maybe this time.
Yeah. Maybe this time things will be different. But it felt too abrupt for like what we were going through in this episode where he finally makes like the right call as far as, not just even with Rebecca, but like, I need to learn to study and actually stop self-sabotaging. And if I could, does it mean anything? Like, if you can get an A, you can go get a fucking A. No one wants to hear your excuses about, oh, I got a C because I didn't try. Like, just go get the job done if you really think you're all hot shit.
It makes me sad that I made a musical joke and you didn't get it. There's a song in Cabaret called Maybe This Time.
That's how I feel when I use sports analogies and they just go zipping by.
Well, you get to listen to sports analogies someday. Season 4.
God! I had 2 losers.
I also have 2.
I wonder if we have the same losers. I bet we don't.
Maybe. Paula?
Oh, yeah.
I do think that finally admitting the truth is good. But she was so sad. And she also said, I've hardly seen you this week. So, like, it's not just that she's, like, imagining that this is the case. It, like, seems like it's actually the case.
So there's that. She is right that without Josh, they seem to connect less, which is sad. Also, Paula is a bad friend. Like, she is a loyal friend, but she is not the friend you need.
Yeah.
She is the enabler, right? Like, if you were a drunk, you don't want Paula as a friend because she's going to pass you shots. And yeah, I mean, you were legitimately sad for her when you realized that, like, oh, this is the root of their friendship in her mind.
Yeah.
And without that, she has nothing. And her life is, in the last episode, I think it was, she was like, I have nothing else I like.
Yeah.
So.
And she, like, wants to give Valencia Lyme disease. Giving her poison oak itchy rash is one thing. Yeah. But Lyme disease is a whole other level.
I mean, she wanted to get Josh arrested. Yeah,
that's also really bad. She's crazy.
Crazy isn't even the right term. She's like sociopathic.
Yeah, I see that. My other loser is Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Definitely Josh. Even though he's barely in this episode.
That look on his face, he either is very confused or is upset. I'm not sure which it is.
I think he's upset. And I think he's upset because he's confused.
Yeah, and also not to mention the fact that it's still the thing from the episode. The last time we saw Josh and Valencia together, things didn't seem good. And he also seems obsessed with Rebecca. I'm surprised that he told Valencia that Rebecca made it so that Valencia could be in the bridal party.
I'm not.
Well, I'm not because I think Josh is obsessed with Rebecca, but
I don't think he's obsessed. I think he has a thing for her. Obsessed is like Rebecca and Josh. I don't think that's equal.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't have future knowledge like you do. But I will say, I think the thing that was, I don't know, weird about him was that, like, I think he liked the attention, and now once it was gone, he was like, oh, wait, I missed that. And Valencia also seemed to be aware of the fact that, like, she didn't think it was going to happen with her and Josh.
Yeah.
So, like, Josh doesn't seem to be there. Valencia maybe isn't there. This might be coming to a head.
Yeah. I have 1.5 winners.
Who's your half?
Rebecca.
Yeah, of course you have Rebecca.
I think that she, for most of this episode, makes good choices and accepts responsibility for her actions. I am not sure about the Greg choice at the end. She's been thinking about Greg in a different way for a while, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, based on who you are, I knew Rebecca was going to get a win here. She's in the middle for me. She's not a loser. I just don't think.
How many do you have?
I have 1.
Okay. I also have Valencia.
Valencia is the winner of this episode. Pretty clearly, in my opinion, actually.
Both because she got what she wanted. Like, she's in the bridal party, and Rebecca's out, which is kind of a thing that she would want, I think. And she, like, seems to be, like, growing a little bit as a human being.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, is what's funny is that what happened did seem like a thing Valencia would do.
Yeah.
But she didn't do that. And she was genuinely like, I didn't do that. I'm sorry, I would not do that.
I also think that we often talk about how shallow Valencia is. And I'm not going to argue that she's not shallow, but I think some of it is the fact that she thought about how she doesn't understand humor and it makes people uncomfortable and then, like, took an online tutorial about it is a little deeper than I would have expected from Valencia.
The kiddie pool might be a little bit deeper than we thought. Maybe not the best way to understand humor, but she's at least taking steps.
Yeah.
Can you learn humor from an online tutorial?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe not maybe that you could do it, but it might help you understand when something else is funny and that you should laugh.
I guess that's the thing. Was she taking it to learn why people think things are funny?
Yeah.
Or was she taking it to try to be funny?
That's a good question. But either way, because it still could be shallow in the sense that, like, she's trying to make herself look better, but it's like a depth of shallowness if it's that. Because she could always just fall back on how hot she is.
Of course. I think if she took it to understand other people, that isn't shallow at all. If she took it to just make herself funny, there's a little bit of vanity with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not very clear. But yeah, I mean, the Chans seem to have accepted her, which didn't seem even possible before.
Agreed.
So it was a win for her. It's funny. I had Greg as a loser. And then I had Greg as a winner.
Oh!
And then I completely eliminated him.
I have no Greg. I have Greg, no.
Because I was like, oh, Greg, your life is so sad and pathetic. But then, like, he started to, like, get it right. And I was like, oh, this is
He's studying. He's trying.
Studying. He's trying. He's realized that Rebecca is poisonous for him. And, like, everything is... Nope, fuck that up. So, like, I think he's just typical Greg. He could fix it if he wanted to.
But he's about to get wrecked for 3 days also.
I don't think he's going to be the one getting wrecked. I don't know what their sex life is like, but I'm just guessing. Also, I like that he says, and I'm not talking emotionally, and I was like, let's be honest. Someone in this relationship is going to be emotionally wrecked at the end of this.
Very fair.
But, you do you, man.
Well, next time we'll watch Season 1, Episode 17, Why is Josh in a Bad Mood?
This is the penultimate episode of the season?
Yeah, there's one more after this.
I mean, certainly going to be Josh. Going to be a Josh-focused episode. I'm assuming we will also get some White Josh and Daryl, probably.
Oh, yeah, because we haven't caught up with them.
We haven't caught up with them. I'm very curious to see where Rebecca and Paula go.
Me too.
That's going to be interesting.
Especially if Josh is in a bad mood. It seems like Paula's not going to take that very well.
I suspect this could be the end of Josh and Valencia. Like, this would make sense to me that his bad mood would lead to, I'm done with this shit. Yeah, I also think there's no chance this Greg and Rebecca thing doesn't end in a disaster, but I want to watch this disaster play out. What?
I'm so sorry. I can't say anything.
Oh. I mean, look, you've seen the show, I haven't. It is not a hard jump to realize that this is going to only end in disaster.
It was like precisely what you said, though. I can't wait till we get there.
Jesus. So, yeah, I will say, this episode did a really good job of setting up a lot of things for the future. And I did like where we are going.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, please be sure to join us next time when we watch Season 1, Episode 17, Why is Josh in a Bad Mood?
We'll see you next time.